Coming up on the KCRG-TV9 News at 5:30, a recent graduate of Coe College is a suspect in an attempted attack at a mall in Canada. One former professor says some of her writings often centered around death. People in North Liberty are working around the city's rapid growth to also ensure that everyone in North Liberty feels welcome.
Live in high definition from your 24-hour news source, you're watching KCRG-TV9 News at 5:30.
Thank you for joining us tonight. A 2014 graduate from Coe College in Cedar Rapids is now a suspect in an elaborate plot to try to kill as many people as possible at a shopping mall in Canada. Police say they have two suspects in custody. Police identified 23-year-old Lindsay Savannah Roth as one of these suspects. Coe College representatives confirmed she was a student from 2010 to 2014, graduating last year with a double major in English and creative writing. She most recently lived in Geneva, Illinois. That's her hometown, about an hour outside of Chicago. Police in Halifax, Nova Scotia say Savannah Roth and 20-year-old Randall Shepard were plotting to shoot and kill others at the Halifax shopping center with the plan to kill as many people as possible before killing themselves. The CBC is reporting that a tip came in from Geneva about the plan. Within hours, Canadian police arrested Savannah Roth and Shepard at the Halifax airport. Investigators say she confessed to the plot. One friend of the suspect says he could not believe what he was hearing.
Not in the slightest. I don't picture either of them being capable of such a thing, and it's not the type of thing that I ever heard them talk or joke about.
Both suspects have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. A third suspect, a 19-year-old man, was found dead at the scene. He shot himself as officers approached the home. We've also been investigating her time at Coe College as well as in Cedar Rapids. A search of Iowa courts online shows no arrest nor any other legal or criminal activity involving law enforcement. While Savannah Roth was enrolled at Coe, one English professor told the Gazette's Lee Hermiston that her work sometimes contained disturbing themes. Professor Charles Akima praised her writing ability from a 2012 class at Coe, but also noted that Savannah Roth often crossed the line when writing about death and killing, and also did not talk much in class nor critique other students' writing. Savannah Roth reviewed scripts for the Coe Review for 2 years, with one piece titled My Pet Skeleton published online. Cedar Rapids police are looking for a 23-year-old man they say is missing with his infant daughter. Police put out an Operation Quick Find for Faison Stanton. They say he and his 6-month-old daughter, Aubriella Stanton, were last seen on Glass Road Northeast near Interstate 380. Police say that Faison Stanton is a 5'8" African-American male with several tattoos on his arms and was also last seen wearing red pants, a red shirt, and a blue jacket. The infant was last seen with pink pajamas and a white headband. An early morning fire in downtown Burlington forced at least 12 people to get out of the building and out into the cold air. Fire crews, they were called out to a 3-story brick apartment building on South 3rd Street after 6 this morning. Firefighters were on scene for several hours as the flames burned and were visible throughout the downtown area. At this point, Burlington fire investigators say 4 people were taken to the hospital for treatment. 2 people jumped out of windows to escape the building. The fire marshal said everyone was lucky to get out alive. A nearby Salvation Army has opened its doors for shelter for the fire victims. Whenever you see news happening, give us a call on Newsline 9. That phone number, 319-365-9999. You can also send us information, pictures, and videos to newsroom@kcrg.com. The deep freeze of February is most certainly here for all of us to take in with clenched teeth, of course. Meteorologist Chris Havley is in with the First Alert forecast. Chris.
Yeah, we're really tired of you and all that shivering with all these cold temperatures in the area, but tonight we're looking a lot better there thanks to some cloud cover that moved over the area here today and some wind switching to the southeast. That's going to keep temperatures a little bit milder. Now, I use that term relatively speaking. We're not going to see the bitterly cold temperatures as last night, but it'll be a little bit better. Right now, temperatures in those upper single digits and right around 10 degrees for most places, and we're going to only drop a few degrees from there tonight thanks to the clouds and the winds. Your overnight planner for tonight will stay right around 8 degrees through the evening hours. Then by midnight, we'll drop to around 7. Our overnight low, we're calling for right around 5 degrees. That we're not done with the cold air just yet. We have more Arctic air on the way, which is what we'll be talking about coming up in the First Alert forecast. Chris.
Thank you, Chris. We'll meet up soon. North Liberty has been a rapidly growing city in Johnson County for the last 20 years, one that's also home to more and more people from different backgrounds. At one church, a diversity forum is set for Tuesday night. The First United Methodist Church is already known as a place that welcomes other cultures, as it offers a bilingual service on Sundays. Church members say a sermon promoted this idea to organize a diversity forum. Back in December, the pastor spoke about racial incidents that shocked people across the nation. Church members say North Liberty is growing growing rapidly, of course, and they want to accommodate for all who come there. And they know that can all start with a conversation and getting to know each other.
We've not had our moment in time, but other places have. Ferguson has had its moment in time. New York City has had its moment in time. Years ago, Postville had its moment in time with immigration. We haven't had it here. The question becomes, are we prepared to handle that moment in time when it comes?
The forum is scheduled to take place Tuesday from 7 until 8:30 p.m. at First United Methodist Church. They're inviting anyone who's interested to come. That location, 85 North Jones Boulevard in North Liberty. A proposed roommate ordinance in Cedar Falls is scheduled for its final vote on Monday. It would offer restrictions on how many unrelated people can live in a single rental unit. The Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier reports that the majority of the council has voted in favor at the past 2 readings of this. In order for it to finally pass, a majority must approve it at tomorrow's 3rd and final reading. An effort to expand broadband access to Iowans could take longer than expected and also cost quite a bit more than expected. Lawmakers are working through Governor Terry Branstad's proposal to expand broadband, but some service providers say it will cost more than $5 million. It's been set aside. Lawmakers are now talking about that price tag. Iowa's chief information officer says the $5 million program was not intended to pay for the entire state's broadband needs. Supporters of the governor's legislation say it will jumpstart the work, though, in a longer-term project. Today also brings the final day to enroll for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. Applicants have until midnight to sign up. Officials say they do not need to complete the entire application by tonight, but it must at least be started by the deadline. People without health insurance could face fines or penalties. Today also brings the last day for people who signed up for Co-Opportunity Health to find another provider. That's because the insurer went bankrupt when more people signed up than expected. Co-Opportunity was one of 2 insurers available to Iowans through the Affordable Care Act. Hospitals throughout rural Iowa are also having a difficult time attracting and keeping doctors, and that's creating challenges for people who live and work there. Tonight at 10, we'll have a full report on what health care in rural Iowa looks like and how hospitals are trying to recruit more primary care providers. Hundreds of people gathered to attend a rally and a march in Washington state after police shot and killed a man who was throwing rocks at a squad car last week. Police shot and killed Antonio Zambrano Montes almost a week ago after he allegedly threw rocks at vehicles and officers. The rally started at a park across the street from Pasco's City Hall. Both supporters and those critical of police were present. People gave speeches and many asked for peace and for respect, but once the rallies were complete, protesters from out of town started calling for the officers involved in the shooting to be indicted.
All lives matter! All lives matter! If we don't stand up! If we don't stand up! This is gonna keep happening! This is gonna keep happening! They're gonna keep murdering people! They're gonna keep murdering people!
At one point during the protest, police threatened to arrest those who remained in the middle of the street disrupting traffic. Protesters then moved to the sidewalks where they remained. Still ahead tonight on the KCRG-TV9 News at 5:30. This frigid, frozen February is not stopping some from summer dreaming, especially when they're out on the water. Inside the latest from this year's outdoor show, the boat show down at Hawkeye Downs. And later in sports, will the streak stay alive? The UNI Panther men go for 13 in a row at Missouri State. The full story is coming up. Keep it with KCRG-TV9.
Live, on air, and online from your 24-hour news source. Chris Earl, meteorologist Chris Havley, and Josh Christensen Sports. This is the KCRG-TV9 News at 5:30.